Thank you so much for choosing us. Now, commercial banks are lowering their expectations on earnings by the end of this year. This despite the strong profit posted in the first half of this year. Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa, says they will rather tie the outlook of their earnings to the recovery of the economy.
Numbers are numbers. You don't have to run ahead of yourself. In our view, we have a strong industry that is ready to support economic activities. Of course, we have to also mimic the sentiments, economic sentiments of the country. And therefore, if things are not working very well economically in other sectors, you are definitely going to see its reflection within the banking system. And that is why we are very cautious and very careful in blowing the horn, out of proportion. Yes, the banks are recovering, and so much that we can do, a lot more we can do. But we believe that the market rates must move in a direction that enables us to do even more. As it is now, if you are a bank and you are bullish on loans, you may be taking quite significant risks because of where the market rates are, and very good businesses can struggle during periods such as this, and that is why we are working together to ensure that we get the rates in the right we all have to be concerned.
So do I get from you that when it comes to the loans, you are now being so cautious now than ever before because of the fact that if it's not handled well, things could affect you?
Of course, we are cautious. We want to make sure we do not unduly leverage the balance sheet in a manner that you sanction loans today and tomorrow you are having to write them off. We want to lend, or the industry wants to lend, but in a more secure, in more safe manner, in a manner that does not unduly open the industry to risk. And in times like this, you need to work with your bank closely, in a manner that your demands are better understood by the institution, and perhaps the product delivery is made in a manner that also synchronizes with the exact requirements, so you do not unduly also over leverage yourself, because in times like this the tendency is to borrow and borrow, but perhaps this is the time to really look at your liquidity profile and try to understand exactly what you need. Maybe it's cost you need to begin saving, so you don't unduly also increase your risk profile.
So that is interesting, because some will say that we've seen the very, very bad situations that you even lend. I mean, we've seen Q1 last year quarter, the last quarter, the previous quarter, and even you were still supporting. And even in the midst of terrible times, you have posted some strong numbers for Q1 and Q2. Some are saying that, where is that extra caution from when it comes to lending, that when things are stabilized, rather you are scaling back when it comes to supporting businesses?
Not necessarily scaling back, just making sure that the loans that are sanctioned are loans that you have a very good expectation of getting money back. So it's important that we do not unduly put our clients in a position where interest rate is at 30-35%. Because of that, maybe you come and then you get a facility, you come and you get a facility, there's interest income today, tomorrow there's going to be impairment facing you as a bank. So that banks are just, as for caution, it has always been part of the playbook of the banks. Either we lend, but we lend with caution, making sure that the various risk acceptance criteria are properly assessed, and that those who are coming for facilities are really those who need it, and the likelihood of getting money back is very high.
Now, the Bank of Ghana is expected to auction $120 million to bulk oil distribution companies in the last quarter of this year. This is expected to support the imports of finished petroleum products into the country for the period. This was captured in the central bank's Forex forward auction calendar for the last 3 months of this year. The development could mean that the Bank of Ghana may not heed to the IMF's advice to suspend the program because of the impact on its reserves. Let's go on Zoom and speak to energy analyst Dr. Isiu Sulemana. Doc, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure you've been following this development. Do you hold the view that there is no cause for alarm?
Yeah, thank you very much, Beverly, and good evening to you and your cherished viewers. Indeed, I don't think IMF they have maybe any malice for recommending that. I mean, they recommended that in good faith. But of course, markets are different, and every market will have to be contextualized. It has to be contextualized with respect to the situation that that particular market is facing. Our situation is quite dire. It's quite a strange one. And what do you mean by it's quite a strange one? If you look at the quantum that we need to be able to import finished product, it's quite huge, Beverly. So if we are to step aside, if the Bank of Ghana is to step aside and allow, solely by the marketers to be able to source for the dollar externally, I think the implications will be dire. So we have to consider the cost-benefit analysis. So from where I see it, if you look at the cost-benefit analysis as vis-a-vis the kind of market that we have, I think Bank of Ghana will have to continue. I mean, them continue at this moment, I will say, Beverly, it's a need-based. It's not luxury. Everybody who understands the dynamics will know that Ghana at this moment in time, we cannot leave our BDCs to their own fate. If we do that, I mean, the repercussions on the pump prices is something that we cannot handle. Bear in mind, exchange rate is one of the key factors that contributes to what the consumer pays. And I think in recent times, we have achieved some bit of stability within this exchange rate. So the last thing we need is to put the exchange rate in disarray. And I can tell you with much conviction that if Bank of Ghana is to summarily stop the auction at this moment in time, no, we cannot arrest the pump prices, because simply the kind of stability we have achieved at this moment, it will send it into a different gear that we might not be able to handle. So from where I sit, I think there's no cause for alarm. IMF will understand the situation that we have, we find ourselves, and they should be able to understand that, Beverly.
But what do you think will be the implications if the auctioning stops?
Yeah, the direct implication is that skyrocketing of pump prices, because that will mean that, and not necessarily with respect to the product itself, but the dynamic that goes to what the consumer or the end user pays. There are three that we always mention: the taxes and the levies and other things. We hold them constant at this moment. Then we have the commodity, what the commodity sells in the international space. And the third component is the exchange rate. And over the years, over the period, the exchange rate has proven to be a force to reckon with when it comes to what the consumer pays at the pump. So what it will then mean is that we'll have huge exchange rates. The CD to dollar will go very high if the Bank of Ghana should stop that, because the supply demand for the dollar would have been a problem here. And you know what the BADCs and the importers do? They do forward pricing. If they are not uncertain, if the market is so uncertain and they're supposed to be volatility, they will decide to peg it high, and that will mean that the impact will be on what the end user pays. Right. And so the last thing we need is to have skyrocketing pump prices. So yeah, the direct impact is that yes, pump prices will go high. And I can tell you that international prices are not favoring, as we speak now, Beverly, crude oil prices are almost flattening around the $90, and that's not good for the downstream. So if we can handle the exchange rate at the component stable as we have it now, the better for us. Other than that, it will be something that is terrible that we cannot handle. Yeah.
But don't you think that this requirements by the IMF could affect Ghana's program when the IMF is reviewing Ghana's performance?
Yeah, so I don't directly think, because I believe those who are leading this negotiation, they should be able to argue our peculiar situation out to them. It's not a strange thing for a Bank of Ghana to do that. I mean, central banks do interfere in, I won't call it interference, I will call it positive interference of a sort. As I speak now, we have quantitative tightening going out throughout the whole world. The European world, they are doing quantitative tightening. US, they are doing quantitative tightening. When the market is hot, you don't leave market forces to adjust. Other than that, it's simple collapse in the market. So I think it behooves on the champions of those who negotiate on our behalf to be able to argue these points out. And I think, every rational and reasonable, every person who understands the market, if you explain to him what Ghana faces at this moment in time, they will have no choice than to understand that yes, we live in strange situation, and if you don't continue the auctioning, it's going to be a dire situation for us. But I think they can try to. I don't support Bank of Ghana interference in any way from where I sit. But our situation is different. We have to do it, and we have to do it gradually. If we want to pull it off, we have to do it on gradual basis until we pull it off completely. But at this moment in time, no, we cannot do without it, Beverly.
Right. Thank you so much, energy analyst Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, for your time here on Business Live. Moving on, former Finance Minister Seth Terkper is cautioning the government against celebrating the achievement of the first phase of the International Monetary Fund program. According to him, there are still major challenges in the economy, such as high inflation and interest rates, and therefore celebrating the narrowing of the primary balance by the government is not ideal or the way to go. This is because it is the least target Ghana must achieve, according to the IMF. Speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Terkper said the government must not be complacent, but rather work hard to revive the economy, particularly ensure the country's debt is sustainable.
The point is to look to the medium-term goals, given the trajectory we have to, traverse, which is, the path we have to tread, because the time it will take, and I think the government itself has stated that it will take us up to 27 or 2030 something to make debt sustainable, right? So you don't take, a little drop in the deficit, a little drop in, in the deficit, in debt, in exchange rate, in inflation, when you have set yourself those goals. So I think we should look at a medium-term and long-term goal. Now, the other reason why we have to be cautionary in thinking that we are making much progress is we are yet, to sign off on the external debt exchange, program. That is also a header which the government has to clear, which in their most optimistic, estimation, as was said in a media review, is November, all right? And that is the middle of reading the budget or preparing the budget, the next budget, and after the first year review. So in summary, I would wait for the first year review. I would wait for the numbers, that will come from that review, and going into the 2024 budget to come to any firm conclusion, as to short, term gains that we may have made. If you look at what the government has agreed to do in the first review, the main one is the primary balance, which I mentioned. The other ones are a strategy for expenditure, a strategy. The expression used is either a strategy or, cabinet approval, of, either a strategy or some framework, for, revenue, expenditure, debt management, and, but we are a country where if you talk about expenditure management, and you could see expressly stated that this has to conform to giftness, this has to conform to, sustainable arrears. Yeah, these were things which the Mama administration had already started doing. We had the giftness program, which was to go to phase 2, which is the semi-accrual portion, which would have tamed arrears. Now we are being asked after 7 or so years to go back and do that. We had finished the automation of customs, and moving to a phase 2.
Well, Mr. Terkper added that it is too early for Ghana's allies from the international community to be singing the praises of the government.
It's a bit too hurried, especially for our friends from the international community to be singing our praises. and it will be equivalent. I'm not saying that there hasn't been any success whatsoever in terms of the injection, of foreign exchange by the multilateral institutions, in particular into the economy, to try and stabilize the situation, particularly significant flows of COVID. During the COVID period, about 6 billion, which is 6 times what we have always used to turn around the economy. Remember, no government had done, a turnaround of the economy using more than 1 billion. Yeah. So even no matter how severe, COVID would be over the global financial crisis, which was the last major crisis, for which the Ms. Mahama administration used, coming out of the Kufuor administration, used barely, 1 or twice the amount. So that itself, together with, and remember how that money is supposed to have gone into resolving an economy which we are told was solid pre-COVID. The fund has already said there are pre-existing conditions.
You're still watching Business Live here on the Joy News channel with me, Beverly Broom. We take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now, leading plastic manufacturer Synex Ghana is urging prospective homeowners to be part of the biggest housing fair in Ghana, the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. The company, which is known for producing quality water tanks, will have on display its new product called the Synex Pure Gallon Tank, designed to satisfy customers' needs, as well as some juicy giveaways and discounts for patrons. Now, I've been spending some time with the marketing coordinator of Synex Ghana, Ebenezer Chumberima.
Water is an essential necessity of humans and among the most crucial components of our survival. As the saying goes, water is life. So, where and how do you store your water? Heard about the Synex tank?
Our tanks ranges from 600 liters through to 25,000 liters. The slogan goes like, Synex tank, and you say air strong, air tough. And then our brand logo, or the animal on it, is a tortoise. And as you know, the shell of the tortoise is very, very, very strong. And I've not seen a tortoise shell breaking before. And then they are the animals that live longest on earth. You understand? So this symbolizes, or they actually bring about the fact that our products are very durable. And I spoke earlier about the materials we use. UV stabilized agents. We use non-recycled products or agents or materials to make our products. These make it very strong and durable, and then it lasts very long. That's how come we can be able to give 7-year warranty, which no other company gives.
A leading manufacturer in the plastic industry for over 30 years, the company adopts the latest technologies to deliver the best in-class products for their customers. Here's the marketing coordinator at Synex Ghana, Ebenezer Chumberima.
We have the water tanks. That's our main product that we produce. And then we have other products as cones, barriers. We have the utility drums. We also have other sections like cup, preforms, and bottles. That's another section. And we also have packaging and lamination. All these are parts of the things we do. So we don't only produce tanks, we have other sections as well.
For the second time in a row, Synex Ghana is participating in the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Chumberima outlines what patrons should look out for at this year's fair.
The new product we have, more as I said, is the Synex Pure Gallon Tank. We call it here SGT, Synex Pure Gallon Tank. So it's actually measured in gallons. Not everybody is familiar with liters, measuring in liters. So people are used to gallons and all of that. So we decided to make Synex Pure Gallon Tanks for those people to satisfy their needs. We also come in with our price list for everything that we produce. So you have a fair idea of our prices. And then we also give you, obviously, we get time for our customers, our clients, so that we get to interact with them. Know if you have 1 or 2 problems, we get to interact with them, and then we create a family, or then after we can transact, or we can do business thereafter. And also we are trying to provide a 5% discount on that particular day. So when you come and then you are willing to buy for a period of time, we give you 5% discount coupon, so you can get some discount for your purchase.
Now you know. Make sure you visit the Synex stand at this year's EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Synex Tank, a year strong, a year tough.
And that's how we end Business Live tonight. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broom. Thanks so much for your time. I'm leaving you with news making headlines on the international front.